Necessary to start virtually from ground zero.
We'll get the reaction of the opposition and take you live to the Central Region. Top Story is brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans. Your success, our passion. Gasm, the nation builder, and Vodafone. The future is exciting. Ready? My name is Ernest Manu. President Akufo-Addo is tonight leading an army of NPP executives and government officials in what can be described as a full-blown charm offensive on the Central Region as they attempt to win hearts and minds in this critical swing region. Now, of course, the region will tomorrow host the launch of the party's 2020 manifesto. Ahead of this, President Akufo-Addo has been detailing a raft of what he considers as key infrastructural record of the government. Now, he says the party has fulfilled majority of its promises made to the people. Now, this comes a day after the NPP declined an invitation from the former President John Mahama and the NDC flag bearer for a debate on their infrastructure record. In an interview with our affiliate station ATL FM in Cape Coast, President Akufo-Addo outlined projects undertaken by his government. He starts with the Commander Sugar Factory, describing the NDC's attempt to revamp the factory as political gimmick. Listen.
The Commander Sugar Factory, the discussions with the investor have been concluded. The minister, I believe, is on his way to come into cabinet with a final agreement that cabinet will have to endorse before the agreement goes to. We came across a factory which to produce sugar, which had no access to any sugar producing facilities. The planning was clearly just, let me put it, as a political gimmick, to let the people of Commander think that something was being done, when at the end of the day nothing was being done, nothing concrete was being done. So it was necessary to start virtually from ground zero. We look at the planning, we position the factory in such a way that the raw material supply could be then validated and assured. All that has been done.
But say if it was just a problem of raw materials, then something has been done. The loan had been procured. The establishment had been done. So was it just a problem of raw material that possibly scared your administration from touching it?
No, it wasn't. We were not scared from touching it.
Okay.
We went into it, but we needed to make sure that the planning of the factory.
And when you say planning, what variables are we looking at?
I'm talking about the whole process, beginning from the raw material input to the process itself, being done in a manner which would guarantee the viability of the factory. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And that there was a need for us to look at the project de novo, as it were, and make sure that the processes were there that would enable. There are several other projects that are going on. There are 15 1D, 1F projects in the Central Region alone.
Any in Cape Coast? Anything? Because the people will want to also understand your administration's contribution to the development
of
Cape Coast.
There are two projects are currently in the works for Cape Coast, which are about to see the light of day. But there are two 1D, 1F projects that are targeted for Cape Coast. I would rather wait for it to be concluded before we outdoor them. But two have been done. And then the work that is being done in the tourist area. You can well imagine that Cape Coast has a great deal of contribution to make to the tourist area. So from Cape Coast, Elmina, Cape Coast, the various castles, the rehabilitation, the strengthening of their management, all of these. We saw the benefits that Cape Coast had from the year of return. That was a government initiative to boost tourism in Ghana. It was extremely effective. It brought a lot of money into Cape Coast.
So that's President Akufo-Addo there. Now, based on that record in the Central Region, he's asked the people to vote massively for him and the NPP come December 7.
I'm more concerned about the ability to reach out to people and tell them really what it is that you want to do. And that for me is the key.
Okay.
The capacity to talk and reach people and get them your message. Obviously, since becoming president, there's more to it than message. Then there's the issue of delivery, that you said you would do this, have you done it? You said you would do this, have you done it?
Mr. President, is that an eventual realization that there is more to it than just talking? Is that something?
No. But when you don't have the instruments to do more than talk, talk is what you have to do.
Yeah.
That's the beginning. But it is when you have the instruments of action in your hand, that's when you realize that, yes, the talk is extremely important. Thought has to come before action.
Yeah.
If you have not thought things through, when you begin to act, you always act in a blind manner. So it is important to do the thinking and the talking and the messaging. But when you are president, in my view, you are judged even more, not by what you've said, but what you have done. Because it is very easy, in many cases, that the talk and the deed, there's a big gap. I'm hoping that what Ghanaians will understand by December is that in the case of this particular president and this particular political leader, the gap between what he said and what he has done is narrow. It's almost non-existent. That's my wish. I want to come across to the people of Ghana as an honest man, a man they can trust because of my performance. What I've done in government, the key matters that I said I was going to do, I've gone a long way in doing virtually all of them, and that therefore, when they look at their future in these very difficult times, all of us are aware of the difficult times that we live in, the COVID world, which has been has had a devastating impact on all countries, on all economies around the world, that they have before them a political leader who has walked his talk.
That's President Akufo-Addo there in an interview on ATL FM with Amma Bauer. Let's go into the phone lines now and speak to Central Region correspondent Richard Kojo Nyako. Richard, the President wraps up his tour of the Central Region today. Where have you been and what has he been saying?
Well, Ernest, currently we are at Gumuabiwazi, where the President is commissioning one of the One District, One Factory project, the potato processing factory. The President is currently up and he's speaking, addressing the chiefs and people of the area. This particular 1D1F, they, according to the CEO of the company, they can produce 21 products out of the orange flesh sweet potato, and everyone here is excited. Before the President came here, they went to a Kumfi where the Kumfi fruit and juices factory was also commissioned. And so two commissioning projects have been commissioned by the President. The President also passed through Manford to inspect ongoing works on the landing beach project that is there. This evening, the President and the MPP will present the manifesto to the National Council for deliberation and for their perusal, and then tomorrow we will settle for the manifesto launch proper. But ahead of the manifesto launch, Cape Coast is replete with a lot of activities. The city itself is full. The hotels here are fully booked, even though the MPP says that this is a virtual launch. You can see a lot of people in here at the event venue at the University of Cape Coast. We can actually feel and see things here. The security here is top notch, and the regional secretary of the MPP has every available thing that will gear towards the success of the program.
And we'll be getting more into the manifesto launch tomorrow. But Kojo, I'm wondering how the people there are reacting to all that the President has been saying throughout the tour.
Well, the people are excited. It started from Elmina. We had the chief fisherman of the Elmina. Elmina is one of the vibrant fishing industry there. They thank the President for giving them outboard motors that they were lacking, and then they thank the President for the fishing port that has just been has just been cut for. And so people generally, you see statement written all the president for the initiatives that have led to the establishment of the one district, one factory.
And could you hold the line for me? I'll come back to you so we talk about the infrastructure record of the NPP. After the Vice President delivered, a presentation this week, you have been tracking some of the projects on that particular website. I'll come to you to tell us what you found. But Winston Namba, who is Deputy Head of our political desk, joins us in the studio. Winston, the NPP is in the Central Region. All eyes there. We know that it's a critical swing region. Why do you think that this region is so important in this election and the choice of the place for their manifesto launch?
Well, so, Ernest, if you look at the Central Region, now, are you aware that after the creation of new regions, we have only 3 swing regions now? So initially we would have talked about 4 regions. We would have talked about the Bronga, Hafu, Greater Accra, Western, and Central. Now we're left with Greater Accra, Western, and Central. And if you look at all the regions, the Central region has the 4th
because
highest.
For Western region, we have
Western North and Western itself. Now, Western North is an NDC stronghold. Western region itself, and I've just done my checks, and it tells you that Western region swings between the NPP and NDC, even after the split. I'm not going to go into details. The details will be tomorrow. But
and this is just a teaser.
A teaser.
What we should expect tomorrow?
I mean, so let me just say that the Central region has the 4th highest number of registered voters and has consistently contributed about 9% of the total votes cast in this country. And so whoever, I'll continue tomorrow.
Very interesting details there, but we know that as it stands now, the NPP has got majority of the seats, holding about 19 of the seats there. So that's a sharp, change from what we saw in 2012. But we know that the choosing of the running mates for the NDC flag bearer, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, would also change the dynamics. And would it necessarily make the work of the NPP more difficult in the Central region?
I tell you what, in 2000, John Evans Atamils was the candidate of the NDC. He lost in the Central region, lost in 2004. In 2016, Pakwesi Emisafa was the candidate running mate of the NDC in the Central region, and he still lost. So the Central region has a very unique posturing. Look, the NPP consistently had one Cape Coast seat, the Cape Coast seats, until 2008, when it lost it. And when it lost it in 2008, the best it has done is to win Cape Coast North back. All these analyses will come up tomorrow.
Winston, thank you very much. And Winston is the deputy head of our political desk. They've been doing a lot of work as we prepare to give you comprehensive coverage on the NPP's manifesto launch tomorrow. Winston, together with the team, Evans and everyone, already MFR Pao is on the ground. We'll go back to the Central region. But Kojo Nyako has been following the president on the tour. Kojo, on the issue of infrastructural record, you have been fact-checking some of the claims Dr. Baumia made during that presentation. What did you find?
Well, I've been going around one district to one district, and what is getting people confused is the Elmina fish processing, fishing port. It was in Dr. Baumia's presentation that it's an ongoing project, but the sort was just cut yesterday, and so it left people asking whether a project could start before the short cutting is done, or the short cutting is done before the project is done. So it's just a chicken and egg situation. But in the presentation, I do not see anything that the president said, that the vice president said, that is not on the ground. I've checked a lot of them in the various districts.
And that is very interesting to note. Richard, thank you very much for bringing us up to speed on the president's tour and also fact-checking some of the claims for us in the Central region. Tonight, the focus is on the Central region because the NPP it has invaded the region, literally. The president is there. He's been touring the region. We have top-notch executives of the NPP already on the ground as they prepare to launch their manifesto tomorrow. But we know that the Central region is very critical as far as elections in Ghana is concerned, one of the swing regions that anybody would want to win in order to win the elections ultimately. We'll go on to the phone lines. We'll be joined shortly by the Central Regional Minister, Kwamina Duncan, for more on this. He's also been with the President throughout this tour, as you can imagine, and we'll get the reaction of the NDC on this issue as far as the Commandant Sugar Factory is concerned. Let's go on to the phone lines now, and we're joined by a member of the NDC in the Central Region. He was also on the board of the Commandant Sugar Factory. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us here on Top Story. The President says your attempt to revamp that critical factory was just political gimmick and that you really did not think through the plan before starting.
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners. My brother, I was so astonished when Nana Akufo-Addo this morning on a radio program this morning claimed that we did not think through and what we did was not the proper thing. I thought he was an action man because on the 14th of September, that's 2018, Nana Akufo-Addo met the chiefs and people of Commander, and he claimed that the same thing. He said we didn't think through, so they are scouting an investor to take over the factory. So they're going to work on it. And 2 years down the line, we're not seeing anything. So 4 years now, what are they doing? Because I remember I listened to the interview, and the interviewer asked about Commander Sugar Factory, and the man claimed that we didn't think through because there was no availability of raw materials. And we were asked that the previous government also contracted a loan facility of $24.5 million. So 4 years now, what are they doing about it? And the man was unable to directly speak to it, but was rather blaming us. Fine, let's take it that he's saying that we didn't think through. What are they doing? Because the man lied. The man lied through his teeth. 76-year-old man could lie through his teeth that we did not do anything right. Fine. I would not begrudge him a lot, but it seems that he is not on top of issues. His ministers have not briefed him because you know that on the 3rd of June 2020, just 3rd of June, 2 months ago, Honorable Alan Chamatin went to Parliament and he claimed that they signed agreement with the investor and they are waiting for the COVID restriction on foreign travel to be lifted. And when the ban on foreign travel is lifted, the investors will be in to start work on Commander Sugar Factory. But today, Nanado claimed that they are now waiting for the agreement to be sent to Parliament for approval. So who is talking, telling us the truth? Is Nanado lying to us, or Alan Chamatin was rather lying to the people of Ghana? They basically don't have any interest. They don't have any interest to let the factory run, so they are only playing political gimmick with this factory. We put up the factory, we did a test run, everything was in the process, everything was complete. So why have they been in government for almost 4 years and they've done nothing about the factory and they're now telling us that we did not think through?
But I remember that soon after you left office, the issue of raw materials to feed the factory was very critical, and we were told that there weren't enough to feed the factory. And so that is the problem, isn't it?
It isn't the problem. The raw material wasn't the problem. Do you know that people talking about raw material, but I don't blame them because, you know, the Suspect India Private Limited, you know, the factory was a loan that was contracted from Indian government, and India, in the whole world, that's the second largest producer of sugar in the world, and they have expertise on the sugar production. The plan was that you build a factory, you grow the sugar cane, and the process will continue. So what the plan was, first of all, it is not like a pineapple factory where you need a pineapple before you process it. You do the production. You got the sugar, the speeds of the sugar sugar cane that we need, the B41227 and B36464. have a maturity period of between 9 months and 12 months. So what you need to do is that although the capacity of the factory is 1,250 tons of raw material that should be crushed a day, but within 24 hours. But what you can do is that if you can get a constant supply between 200 to 500 tons a day, you can run efficiently. So we did our survey, and the survey that we did, the outgrowers there, the outgrowers within the catchment area, the 100 kilometers radius between the western and central region, the case between 200 to 500 was available, where they can give the constant supply of the canes. So whilst we're waiting for the factory to grow its own canes, the outgrowers, about 3,850 outgrowers which were registered, they had the available raw material, because during the test run, they were the very people that we were depending on to supply the canes to us.
And we'll be getting the Central Regional Minister, Commander Duncan, to join us on the line shortly to answer some questions and some of the issues that have been raised today. But considering you're a member of the NDC in the Central Region, you're seeing the attention that the NPP is giving to that region. How do you react to that? Hello, sir.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, No. The question is to you, that we are seeing the NPP in the region giving so much attention to a region that it already commands a lot of seats. They won the region, massively in 2016. Seeing that you're paying so much attention to that swing region, that decider, how is the NDC reacting to this?
Well, we do not have any problem, because we know that the people of Central Region are in the light. They've seen that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and government, they came to lie to them, and they are not delivering, because they've seen that the Central Region has already fallen for the NDC, and they've regretted voting for them. So now they're doing everything possible to plead to the people of Central Region so that they can have their vote. But I can tell you, we are wide awake. The people of Central Region are wide awake, and they are not going to fall for their lies again, because the president, throughout his communication in the region, clearly shows that they don't think about the region. Because yesterday he went to Elmina, and he called for the construction of fish harbor or something of that sort. Meanwhile, beside where the program was held, the NDC government had built the fish processing plant there. He failed to talk about the fish processing plant. The fish processing plant, at least if you are going to construct the fish harbor beside at least you have also seen the need to let that factory also run. And you're not doing that, because the people of Central Region are asking that you are preaching about the one district, one factory. And before you assumed office, there were 2 already factories existing in a particular district. But you don't mind to let those factories run, but you rather thought of how you can support an individual, the private sector. Meanwhile, the government has conferred loans to build these factories, and you don't see the need for us. And the people of Central Region are asking, why do you do so? Why do you let the factories that were built by the government to suffer? But you claim that you believe in industrialization, and that's how we should go.
Thank you very much. That's the Ransford Amwa. He was board secretary for the Commander Sugar Factory, and also a member of the NDC's communication team in the Central Region. Let's go back to the Central Region. My colleague MFR Pao is leading the team today, and she's already there. MFR, bring us up to speed on what's happening in the Central Region as far as the manifesto launch is concerned.
Okay, so Ernest, like you said, usually a quiet Cape Coast Township is alive today. I can tell you, with visible activities by party faithful, we have executives and leading members of the NPP already. You know that the president is in town already, has been going about a number of activities and all. So we're getting ready for tomorrow. I've got wind of the scene for tomorrow. Earlier, we've been looking for what the theme for 2020 will be. So the theme for the main event is Leadership of Service, Protecting Our Progress, Transforming Ghana for All. And thankfully, I have the national organizer of the MPP, Samir Uku, joining us tonight here on Top Story. So good evening, sir, and welcome to Top Story.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
So, well, I've seen preparations are underway already for tomorrow, but let's talk about how different tomorrow's program will be, considering the times that we're in.
Well, thank you very much. As you can see, we have put in place several measures, observing the protocol. We've lined up several Veronica buckets, complete sets of it. So before you can even get into the inner perimeter, you need to first of all wash your hands under running water with soap. And then afterwards, you also sanitize your hands before you even get into the auditorium. We've also put in place special arrangements where whatever face mask you're wearing, before you enter the auditorium, we'll give you a new face mask that has been sterilized for you to use while it's in there. It's just also to ensure that we protect each and every one there, because you don't know how long you've been wearing the mask that you're wearing. And again, we've also put in place automatic dispensers, advantage points within the auditorium where the media fraternity will be stationed and where the security agencies will also be stationed. And then, aside that, we've also ensured proper social distance. And if you enter the auditorium, I've seen you enter the auditorium. Even though without permission, you entered to tour the auditorium. And so far, preparations are still underway. We expect full cooperation from the media, from council members, and from invited guests as well.
Okay, so at this point, we would want to find out if you're able to walk us through what exactly to expect tomorrow in terms of the program lineup, leading to the manifesto.
From 9 a.m., you have council members and invited guests arriving from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. That will be the arrival period. And then you have the VVIP arriving just after 10 a.m. The program takes off properly just after 10. And then we go through the order, having that of speeches, remarks by regional chairman, by that of the general secretary, that of the national chairman, and then we have some video clips to show and a whole lot.
Okay.
An interesting program lineup.
Is it a rehash of the previous manifesto?
Not at all.
How different would it be?
Well, this one is different because, first of all, in 2016, we were not in government. Now we are in government. We've performed. We need to highlight our achievements and also give the way forward on, if God willing, Ghanaians also give us another mandate for the next 4 years, what we intend doing. And so it won't be a rehash, but definitely we also have to highlight our strengths. And the strongest point is that we've also achieved since being in office since 2017.
So the previous one was change, agenda for jobs. What's this one?
You get to know tomorrow.
Okay.
I know you've been touring the auditorium, but you get to know what the theme for the manifesto is tomorrow. Okay. Latest by 10 a.m. you should know.
And the position on having a debate has not changed?
Well, it's not part of our plans. I've heard people ask us. We have our own plans. And I think this call for a debate, is coming on the back of Dr. Bawumia's solid presentation on infrastructure. Then I expect the NDC, as a serious political party and our opponent, to also put forward their record on infrastructure. When you lay these facts, and then we can do a proper comparison assessment, and then we can move to the next stage. We cannot make a very solid presentation. You haven't even told in one pager or a paragraph to even defeat what Dr. Bawumia has. And he said we should go for a debate. And I'm surprised today Mr. Mahama is asking for a debate because in 2016 he said nobody was worth to debate him because he was president.
But now you've also tasted presidency, so it's a good sign.
You don't have just two people contesting. You don't have just two people contesting. Unless, he's sure there's going to be an MPP NDC game in 2020. There are other political parties as well. Unless he's telling us that, okay, let's forget about the rest. Let's have a one-on-one with the MPP. But it's not part of our plans, MFR. We haven't thought about that. We haven't considered it. We haven't given it a thought.
Okay. So, well, knowing that the results there, we will host it. Of course, I'm ready.
Okay.
We'll stick with it.
I see.
So, knowing that the results there was based on infrastructure, is it more like giving us hints that the manifesto will be largely based on that?
The manifesto will capture several sectors of our economy. That's of education, that's of health, that's of energy, that's of agriculture, that's of industry, that's of roads. And almost every sector of the economy seriously captured every sector of the economy. And we have serious presentations to make as well tomorrow.
Is it called for more to do more?
The for more to do more is what has been accepted by the Ghanaian people. And you may not have it written in the manifesto, but then definitely the for more to do more is a popular slogan that has caught up with the Ghanaian people.
We'll definitely catch up with you again. Thank you so much. That's the national organizer of the NPP, Samir Oku, Ernest. And I must say that my experience coming here from all the way from Kasua to Bujumbura, at a point we didn't even pay the toll because the vice president and other entourage were making their way to Cape Coast and Cape Coast University, the auditorium where we're having this. Is the exam center and it's visible. You can see everything shows that there is something happening for the NPP in town. The whole town is awash with the blue, red, and white colors of the NPP. Definitely, we see that something is actually happening in Cape Coast, Ernest.
Thank you very much, MFR Power. And of course, this is your election headquarters. We've got everything covered for you. You just want to stay with us. And that's it for Top Story, brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans. Your success, our passion, Gasm, the nation builder, and Vodafone. The future's exciting. Ready? Christmas has come early for all Vodafone Cash subscribers. Your secured and convenient Vodafone Cash is the only network offering you a chance to send money to all networks via Vodafone Cash free of charge. Yes, you heard me right. It's free. No other network can give you such an amazing offer except Vodafone Cash. Just send any amount to your loved one as many times as you want without paying anything. So what are you waiting for? Make payments, show your love, make contributions, send your money to that number via Vodafone Cash, and it's free of charge. Dial *110# and send that money. Vodafone, the future's exciting, ready. And coming up in the next half hour, Minerals Investment Fund launches rigorous defense of its decision to establish the controversial Ejapa Royalties Limited in Jersey, UK. We have details as the fund says it is an innovative and transformational way to raise money from Ghana's gold resources. Also coming up here on Newsnight, Ghana Education Service begins stakeholder engagement over reopening of schools following months of closure forced by the outbreak of COVID-19.
What are the options that you have? How do you play it up to see that some go and then others will?
We'll hear from the service as it spells out details of how it will serve nearly 800,000 JHS and SHS students one hot meal starting Monday. Also coming up here on Newsnight, flag bearer of opposition NDC John Mahama promises to legalize the use of motorbikes for commercial purposes, popularly known as Okada, when he's re-elected.
And I say when we come into office, we'll legalize Okada, but we'll regulate it.
But how practical will the implementation be? We'll find out from public safety expert and bring you details of that campaign promise in the OT region. And later on Newsnight, Papano lands Ekia Donko Wuntumi Radio in a 1 million Ghana cedi defamatory suit.
Papano, what do my dear Papano?
We have details after this break. Stay with us.